So Taylor Fritz and Andrej Martin, they're facing off in the second round of the Sardinia Open. So Fritz has actually, we're gonna start with his results. So this year, he's done pretty good. He had a good result. He made the third round of the Australian Open. He also pushed Djokovic to 5 sets in that match. So he did have a good. He's had a decent year so far. In Doha, he made the semis, which was a good run. And then in Dubai, he lost in the round of 16, but that was to Rublev, who is in hot form so far. So he's not in bad shape. And even in Miami, he managed to make the round of 16. But even though he lost to Bublik, that it was a good run anyway. So he's not been in bad form this year. He's actually had a decent year. But he has to be wary because he's going against an opponent who is good on clay. He's going against an opponent who is really good on clay, who plays well on clay. So he's going to have to be really wary of that when he's playing, because he needs to make sure that he, is at his best if he wants to beat him. Although you can say he's not so bad on clay, because he did have a good run in the French Open. He made the third round, and he lost to Sonego in 3 tight sets that lasted over 3 hours. But he has shown his clay court prowess. But still, he will still have to be at his best if he wants to win this. If he wants to win this encounter. Now, Martin notched a good win over Vesely. He beat him in 3 sets, 6-4, 2-6, 6-1, and it was a good win, especially because people were saying that he wasn't in good form, and he didn't look in good form because he didn't do so well on the last defeats, but he was able to beat Vesely in 3 sets, and Vesely is also a decent clay court player, so it was a good win for Martin because he can be good on the clay. Now he will know that he had a shot because Fritz isn't as good on the clay, so he will know that he had a shot at being able to win this match here. Now, Fritz and Martin, Taylor Fritz and Andrej Martin, I don't think they've ever met, so their head-to-head record, I believe, is right now is 0-0. So, my prediction here for this, I think that Fritz. I'm actually gonna side with Martin to win this encounter just because I think he's playing well now. I think that he's just better than Fritz on the clay. So I think this is gonna be an upset. I'm gonna pick Martin to win this in 3 sets. I'm gonna pick a 3-set win for Andrej Martin because he's doing well on the clay. He had a good win today over Vesely, and I just think he's better on the clay than Taylor Fritz is on the clay court. So I'm gonna pick Andrej Martin to win this in 3 sets. So Basilashvili and Kovalik, they're facing off in the round of 16, or in the second round of the Sardinia Open. Now Basilashvili actually he's had I would say an erratic season so far this year, because it was truly amazing how he was able to turn it around, because he didn't do so well at his first events. The Antalya Open, he was able to make a decent run. He made the quarterfinals, but after that, he didn't win matches at his next 4 events. He failed to win any matches in his next 4 events. And in fact, in the next 4 events he played after that, he failed to win a set in any of his defeats. So even when he was defeated in straight sets to each. So after his defeat to Diminor in the Antalya Open, in the Great Ocean Road Open, he lost to Martinez in straight sets. Mario Villiam Martinez, he lost him in straight sets. He lost to Tommy Paul in straight sets in the first round of the Australian Open. At the Open de France, he lost to Barrera in straight sets. In Rotterdam, he lost to Nori in straight sets. So he failed to win a set But this is the event that was the miracle for him. This is what changed everything, and that was Doha, where he managed to put together a memorable run. He beat Millman in 3 sets in the first round. He then beat Jaziri in straight sets. He then beat Federer in 3 sets after saving a match point in the third set, so an amazing run. Fritz, he beat him in straight sets, and he did the same thing to RBA, to Bautista again. He beat him in straight sets to win the title. So that was the event that everything changed for Vasilashvili. I'm going to see if he can keep that up, because in Dubai and in Miami, he hasn't won a match either. Although the good thing is that at least he took a set from both those encounters. So we're going to see if maybe he can do well on the clay courts against Brody. Or sorry, if he can do well on the clay courts against Kovalik. I think he's playing Kovalik. Now, the Kovalik, he had a good win over Suman Nagal. He beat him in 3 sets, after coming from a set down, 3-6, 6-1, 6-3. And it was a good win for him because Kovalik can be good on the clay courts, and Nagal is also a player that did well on the clay courts in Argentina. So it was a good win for Nagal, for Kovalik nonetheless, because Nagal showcased his clay court prowess, and he could have been a dangerous competitor here, but he managed to win, which was a good sign for Kovalik. So we're going to see if he can transfer that to here, because he's playing a much tougher opponent in Basilashvili. So we're going to see what can happen. Now, Kovalik and Basilashvili, they met in, I think they've met before. They have never met officially again, but they've met in a challenger event in Germany on the clay court, and Basilashvili won that one 1-6, 6-4, 6-3. So this one's an extremely tough one to call because I'm not sure who to back here, but I'm going to back Basilashvili since just due to the head-to-head. I'm going to back him to win it here. Actually, I'm going to go with Kovalik. I think he's much more. I think that he played well in his win against Nagal today. I think he can win this. I'm going to go with him because I think that he's number one. I have a feeling he'll win. And number two, I think that he's playing. I think that the Basilashvili can be known to be erratic. Sometimes he does well, and sometimes he may not do as well. And I think that Kovalik played really well enough against Nagal to suggest that he could spring an upset. So I'm going to pick Kovalik to spring the upset in 3 sets. So Kovalik in 3 sets is my pick here. Now Liam Brody and Juan Linares Struff are facing off in this round of 16 of the Sardinia Open. Now Brody he qualified for this event. He had to win 2 matches to qualify for this event. He then had to play the Swiss Marc-Andrea Hustler, and he was able to beat him in straight sets. He beat him 6-1, 6-3, I believe. So it was a good win for Brody because we know that for Brody, he's not as he can play on the clay courts, but he's not as good on clay as he is on hard court or maybe grass court. And we know that he was playing a player that is actually good on the hard court. So it was a good win for Brody to be able to win that. And it looks like that he may be able to cause an upset here, especially because Struff wasn't at his best in his encounter, so he may be able to actually cause an upset and maybe beat Struff. So we'll see what can happen. Now Struff, he had to battle from a set down. He had to save a couple match points to beat Souza. He beat him 1-6, 6-1, 7-5. And it was a good win for Struff, especially because it was a battling win. He had to save a couple match points. It wasn't easy for Struff to win this. He had to save a couple match points to get the win. So, but that would definitely boost his confidence, and maybe he can make a deep run here if he plays a little bit better, more consistently. We'll see here because Struff, he, can sometimes be play good, and sometimes he may play bad. Sometimes he can be a little inconsistent. So it remains to see if he can win this encounter here against Brody, who really played well in his opening match. We're going to see if maybe he can win this one. So, we're not sure yet, but maybe he can win. We're going to see. Now, Brody and Juan Linares Struff, they've never met at all, so their head-to-head record is 0-0. So, right now, my prediction here, I think that Struff is gonna win this. Once again, I have a feeling that Brody will win, but this is one of the videos where I will not go with my gut. I'm just gonna go with what I think like logically is right. I'm just gonna pick Struff. I think Struff. He played well in his opening match. Well, maybe he didn't play so well. He had to battle from a set down. But I think that he was good, and I think that that will boost his confidence for the coming matches to come. So my pick here is Struff in it. I think it's gonna go 3 sets. I don't think it's gonna be a straight win, but I think it's gonna be Struff in 3 sets, just because of how well Brody played before. I'm gonna back him to win a set, but I'm gonna think it's gonna be Struff in 3 sets. So my prediction here is Struff in a 3-setter. So Bedine and Gerasimov, they're facing off in the round of 16 of the Sardinia Open. Now, Bedine, he had to fight in his match against the wild card from Mexico. He played the wild card from Mexico, and I don't know how to pronounce his name well, but I would say it's Zepieri. He played the wild card from Mexico. That is a young player. He's probably gonna do well in the future, and he's only 19 years old. Oh, sorry, he's from Italy. Sorry, he's from Italy, not from Mexico. I'm making a mistake. He's from Italy, but he played a wild card. That's what I'm trying to say. And it could have been, and he was. It was a tough match because he was down in the first couple sets. He was down in the second set. He was down, I think, also in the third set. But he managed to win it in 3 sets, 1-6, 7-5, 7-6. So good win for him, because that will boost his confidence for the other matches going forward. He's now playing Gerasimov, who did well to beat Guido Pella in straight sets 6-4, 6-0. And while we know that Gerasimov isn't as good on hard court as he is, on clay as he is on the hard court, he does have a good record on the dirt. So we are going to see whether he can do well against Bedine here. And that's because Bedine is a good clay court player. He's definitely a good clay court player. So we're going to see whether he can do well here. And now, Bedine and Gerasimov, they've met once, and that was on a hard court. So that was just early this year. That was in the Open Sud de France, and Gerasimov won that one 6-4, 7-6. But that was on a hard court, so that probably wouldn't have as much relevance here because that was a hard court event. So my prediction here, I think that Gerasimov is going to win this. I think he played really well in his opening match against Pella. And as always, Pella can always be a dangerous player. He's good on clay. And even though he was a little rusty, it was a good win from Gerasimov. So I think I'm going to pick Gerasimov to win this in 3 sets. I don't think it's going to be straight sets because it's a clay court, and I know that Bedine is good on clay. So I think it's going to be a 3-set match. But I'm going to pick Gerasimov to edge it out in the third set. So my pick is Gerasimov in 3 sets here.